Hey y'all, so this video is on the 3 days of darkness and what's going on with that, if it's real, if it's not. Is it something that's biblical that is supposed to happen again? We already know that it's happened already in Exodus as part of the plagues of Egypt. But just talking about what's really going on with it is what's really happening, what is expected. Should we be preparing for this? Because let's just be real. There's a whole lot going on. There are a lot of distractions. There's all this protest, the political unrest. We have the war in Israel. A lot of things are happening. But if you took the time to step back and look at things as they are, you would kind of understand that, yeah, something's happening. That's why these governments and these rulers are doing what they're doing. It just makes sense that that's what they're doing. When you realize that we're in a reality show and that all these people are acting, you'll start to see that they're making moves, and the moves that they're making are moves of desperation. They're money grabs, they're power grabs, they're repositioning themselves. And so that left me to the question of what are they positioning themselves for? What is it that they're really doing? Because you want me looking over here, but what's really happening is over here. And while you are a reality show and you're producing this for certain people, what is the point of production? Who is producing this? And what is it that you're really doing? When I started asking myself these questions, the answer that I got just blew me away because it's in your face and you're just not paying attention to it because we're literally trying to survive because while all this is going on, we have to live. Like literally, we have to find a way to live. We have to live for our families, for ourselves. We have to be better for the community. We have to be better for our legacy that we're going to carry on. We have to be better spiritually so that we don't carry any of this, so that we're light. As long as we stay light, we're preparing ourselves to continue on in Yah's way. But if we're constantly in a state of chaos, it's impossible. So we have to juggle all of these things while life is really lifing. And while they have us distracted looking at this reality show, that's exactly what's happening. Life is lifing, and what is real is telling you a story, and you have to pay attention to it. So the first thing I understood was that they want us focused on the Trump, good guy, bad guy, Elon, good guy, bad guy, Putin, got bad guy. Putin, good guy, bad guy. Elon, good guy, bad guy. Xi Jinping, good guy, bad guy. They have you focused on Netanyahu, good guy, bad guy. They have you focused on this narrative that they're giving you. But the truth is, people are making power moves. And what would give them what is the reason, what's the catalyst for these power moves, these money moves, these money grabs? What's the purpose of them? So first of all, you understand the United States government, the government is nothing of what it used to be. It is not what it was. If you're looking for the government, Kamala or Trump, to save you, you're already not paying attention because these systems have already broken down, and it shouldn't take you long to realize that nobody's really in charge. This is why he's able to defy this. This is why Trump is able to defy the Supreme Court and do what he wants to do. So nobody is really in charge. The other nations know this. They don't need to come to Trump to ask him what he thinks. He's a reality show star. He's putting on a production for you. He is cosplaying president. That's why most of his cabinet are producers or actors or other reality show or TV show stars because it's a production and they got to put on a good one so you won't pay attention for what's really happening. So if you need to come to the realization that you're in the middle of a reality show, you're watching a reality show. Literally, they're in the arena and you're sitting in the stands and you're watching the show that they're putting on, right? But right outside of the arena, there's life really happening. And the life that is happening that you can pay attention to mostly are these storms, the weather pattern, the increasing earthquakes, okay, the animals that are telling you that something is wrong. When animals are telling you, showing you through their action something is wrong, you need to pay attention because nature is real. These political theatrics are just that, theatrics. That's not real. You have to pay attention to what's real and the story that it's telling you. And the animals, The earth is telling you something is coming, something is not right. I feel this, I feel pressure. And so the earth is telling you with these tornadoes, these storms, the weather patterns. We all know, those of us who are older than our generation Alpha or Generation Z, even, we can see that these weather patterns are not normal. We know that these things that we're seeing, we've never seen before. Like storms hitting back to back to back to back in the same place. And mind you, they, most of them, follow the path of that eclipse April 8th. When you were like, oh, the world is ending. No, God was giving you a sign. Yah was giving you a sign of something coming. And so if you go back and you just follow the line of that eclipse, that was the creator's way of telling you, you need to pay attention. Something is about to happen. And so when you look, those storms literally are lining up perfectly from where that eclipse went through Texas and all the way on up. It's kind of like a line, and there's pressure in that area. Another thing I noticed, the animals. The animals in California. First, it started with the demonic seals. Seals attacking people. We know that they're docile creatures. They don't do that, right? They're peaceful creatures, but all of a sudden they're attacking people. That was the beginning of things telling you that something was happening out there. Okay, then it went from that to the whales dying off. And they say it's because they're beaching to go on their trip, on the travels from down south up into the Alaska area. To get there, they have to come in the bay and dock and get food. But normally there's food out there to get, and they can eat so they can continue on their path up north into the northern areas of the globe. So now the animals are coming in looking for food, but it's not just that. Then how could you explain the dolphins? How could you explain the seals? Something's happening in the water. So for me, they said that the animals had acid poisoning. They were being they had a level of acid in them that was causing them to act the way they were acting. And look it up to get the better terms and what they say scientifically, their scientific terms. But basically, it was that the animals they were responding to acid. You know, so for me, I mean, doesn't water turn acidic when they're volcanoes? So to me, it just makes sense that there's something going on in the Pacific. There's something going on in the Pacific, that there's been some kind of volcanic activity that's turning the water acidic, that's turning the water hot. There's about to be something that goes off over there in the Pacific. Something is happening over there. And compile that with the other volcanoes that have gone off. You got the one in Hawaii, you got the one in Iceland, you have the one in Italy. You have all of them going off. The the increased volcanic activity in Yellowstone. The earth is telling you something's happening. So let's not pay attention to the theatrics because they putting on a show. It's a production. But what is real is telling you that something has changed. And the change is to the point where it is literally affecting your wildlife. It's affecting your climate. It's affecting your environment. So, and please, I'm explaining it as best I can, as best that I can understand it, to explain it to you. So for me, I just kind of thought, well, all these things sound like an effect of some kind of gravitational pull, like the cracks in the earth, the earthquakes, the volcanoes. All these things kind of go together with like a change in the gravity, like a gravitational pull, like the planet is being pulled on by something. So that would happen out, inside of our in our atmosphere. And then you think about all the different so-called satellites that came into space. These satellites that came around and circled the space and then flew out. These asteroids, they're calling them, these satellites from outer galaxies. You start to understand that there's stuff that we just don't know and can't understand that's happening outside in outer space, whatever that really means. meaning we are only we only know what we've been taught. There's a greater understanding that we don't have that we should be looking for. And so to me, it just seems like something's happening. That something is pulling on the planet, which took me down to something else. We have been watching folks talk about Planet X or what they call Nibiru for a while. I'm not saying I fully believed in it, but I'm saying it's very possible that there could be a planet in our galaxy whose orbit is elliptical, it's longer, it takes longer to do its orbit around the whole galaxy than Earth. So I know they say that when you look it up, it's a conspiracy, but the conspiracy also says the planet comes around every 2,500 to 3,000 years. So you have to figure out when it came through last, where we are now. And then so I noticed that I started watching these videos on it because everybody's seen it. People can see the planet certain times of the day. Certain times of the day, you can see this planet. And before, when we started seeing these pictures, the planet was smaller. But now it seems like the sightings of this planet have increased, and the size of this planet has increased to the point where when you see it now, mostly at evening, it looks as if it's the size of the moon. Before, it was way smaller. So I would look and say there's something coming into the orbit. What is going on? You know? So that took me down another whole thing. If this planet is real, that would explain your earthquakes. That would explain your volcanic activity. That would explain the animals. That would explain your weather. That would explain the governments around the world making these power moves because they know what's happening. They're preparing while they keep you stupid. They think you don't know. Just put on your Holy Spirit. Like, I know I'm not saying this as gracefully as I could. I know that I'm coming at this from a level of basic understanding, to the point my terminology may be off, and this is all new for me trying to explain to you and put together what I feel from the Holy Spirit. But there's something out there, and it's coming, and they all know it. That's why they're making these power moves. That's why they're doing all these grabs. That's why they're acting so recklessly, because they know that something's coming and they're banking on you not knowing so that you won't survive. And then you say, I said, Lord, is this real? I mean, why would we not know about this? And he says, well, I did kind of tell you, why do you think Jonah was in the belly of the whale for 3 days? Why do you think that Yahusha was inside the belly of the earth for 3 days? And then I said, oh my goodness, when this planet comes in, we will be in its shadow for 3 days and 3 nights. So this is the event that everybody's waiting for. When this planet comes so close and it gets ready to come around us, it's not going to destroy us, but there is going to be a pull, a shift. When this planet comes around us and loops back out, we're going to be in the shadow for 3 days. So that makes the 3 days of darkness real. Then I thought about everything the Bible has been saying. We think, we read these scriptures, we take them, and we don't understand that it's God, Yah, telling you something practical that is about to happen that He needs you to prepare for. There's something practically coming. Just as Christ was in the earth for 3 days in darkness, so we will be in darkness for 3 days in the shadow of this planet that is coming, and they know it. Not just they know it, there are people who are using it and its power to cause something to open. They're using this to open portals. And Darkness, it will be dark for 3 days, and this period, darkness will be the darkest it's ever been out here. So if you're not prepared for this level of darkness, if you're not prepared for what's about to happen, they're preparing and they're waiting for this event. They're waiting for this event to happen so that they can use their witchcraft, they can use their sorcery, they can open their portals, they can do whatever they want to do so that they can have their time here. And you have to be wise and smart and know that you have to cover yourself and your home and your family with the Ruach. Right now is when the Holy Spirit should be leading you and guiding you into preparing your homes. But here's the thing, there are two ways this event is going to affect us, in two different ways. Actually, three. One is spiritually. Spiritually, we're going to be in darkness and there will be spiritual wickedness moving around. There will be things out there moving around, and they're preparing themselves for this time to be at high witchcraft. And we should be preparing our homes to be filled with the Spirit and to not be afraid. Okay, so while this happens, darkness is going to increase, but those who believe, they're going to have light in their home. This is not for you to be afraid, it's for you to tell you. You need to understand and know who the Holy Spirit is now so that you can have light in your home. You need to now be calling on the Ruach and understanding what he sounds like. You need to understand and have him cover you so that you have a spiritual covering spiritually for what's about to happen spiritually, physically. So while they're preparing spiritually with their witchcraft opening their portals, you should be preparing spiritually by filling your spirit with the Ruach, by filling your home, covering your children with the Ruach. You should be prepared. Getting those spiritual songs ready. You should be prepared. You should be building your spiritual body up to be prepared for what's about to happen. And what you need to do is get inside and prepare inside. You should be preparing your arcs, your homes for what's about to happen. Okay, that's the spiritual aspect. The physical aspect is you are literally going to be in the dark with no power for 3 days, and there will physically be things out there moving around along with the spiritual. Do not open your door, do not let anyone in. When you see these events happen, when you start to see the sun, the days grow darker faster, when you start to see, they talk about the aurora borealis. Part of that is the magnetics of the earth, right? When you start seeing that, they're talking about, oh, the pretty red colors. That is a sign. Those pretty red and purple and teal colors that you have never seen is a sign that there's something going on in your atmosphere that is causing the aurora borealis to be as beautiful as they are. As beautiful as it is, it's a sign that you should be preparing. There's something going on out there cosmically that you don't understand. When you start to see the days grow shorter or the sun grow dimmer, or when you start to see the earthquakes, the volcanoes pick up even more to the point where it's birth pangs and they do not stop, know that you're coming into the 3 days of darkness. You should be preparing your home. You need to have your water. Yes. You need to have your snacks. Yes. Find you a closet. Find you a space. Find you and